Coming up right now, the newest episode from Carr, Gwyn, and Ode on Three Pagans and a Cat. Hey, this is Three Pagans and a Cat. I'm Carr.
You may call me Ode.
Marry me. My name is Gwyn, and we have with us today
Jacki Smith!
Yay! Jacki Smith is
And Jacki Smith is from?
Oh, where am I from? I'm from Ferndale, Michigan, the Detroit area, and I'm a little fuzzy in the brain right now from the third day of a big old convention.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. You, our dear sweet listeners, might know Jacki from a wonderful company called Coventry Candles.
Yes. Yeah. We've spoken of them before.
Coventry Creations.
Coventry
Creations, which makes Coventry Candles,
Yes.
among other things, and the Witches Union.
Yep, the Witches Union, yeah.
Which we've talked about, oddly enough, on our podcast before, so that's why we wanted to have you on.
Idea. Yeah, I love that you love that.
We do.
We're very...
I have to join. I have not joined yet. I have been wanting to join. I need to join.
It takes seconds. I just answer the questions and I'll go, yes! I just, do you have a Facebook group? You do.
Yeah.
And so when people want to join you, like, are you going to be not a jerk? And are you going to not be predatory, right?
Right, yeah.
And then why do you want to join? And it's so amazing how people won't answer those questions. I'm like, well, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's really not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we ask people what their favorite color is, and usually that one's the one they answer beyond everything else. So I can handle that. But
because it's interesting in the groups, I'm getting a ton. I checked with other groups, magical groups. You get these predators that they just want to sell their services, and a lot of them they say they're from Nigeria or Brazil or some of this other stuff. And I started looking at it, I'm like, oh look, you joined Facebook 7 days ago.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we protect the members.
Yep. Yeah.
Of that.
We haven't had that yet, which has been great.
We've screened membership
on the group.
On the group.
Yeah, but even on the page, we haven't had like the random.
On my pages, I don't get that. It's just people wanted to join the group.
Oh, gotcha.
And at first, I'm like, well, I don't know. These people might be cool. And then I learned.
Yeah.
Talking about the Witches Union, what was the idea or the impetus behind creating that and the badges and all that kind of? We kind of described it as a Girl Scout.
And it's exactly like Witch Scouts. That's exactly what my thought process was. So, going on 4 years ago, I have a line of candles called Witches Brew Candles. And I call them the girls and the Witches Brew line. I wanted to promote the girls a little bit different way. And as we were sitting around brainstorming, I said, it's like they're a union. And all of a sudden I went, oh, give me a minute. And I saw it in my head what I wanted to do, and within an hour I created the logo.
Well, it's wonderful.
And which usually if I'm going to create something like that, it's days of thinking and processing, but within an hour I had it, and I'm like, well, I guess this is happening.
Yeah.
And it was really it was initially just a promotion for the Witches Brew stuff. And then after I started building that promotion piece, I'm like, I love this. And I started thinking about what are the different things I could do with this logo. And I didn't want it to be products. I wanted it to be a feeling. I wanted it to become a community. I wanted it to be like more swag than anything else. And so I did journals, I did the patches, the first patch, and then I did coffee mugs and matches. Because it's like swag, right?
Right, yep.
And the thing that is going really well is the patches, because now I'm like, well, I need a patch for this. And my thought process was, if you've mastered or even attempted something, like in the Scouts, whatever Scout you're in, you attempt it and you get a badge.
Right.
And I'm like, well, this is all magic we've all done, whether it's the meditation or my two favorites are the protection one with the raven and then the bee, the hive.
Right.
Alone I go fast, together we go far.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really love that one. But then I also love the evil eye. So it's just wait.
Choosing a favorite child.
I wore this for y'all.
Oh, yay!
Oh, nice.
It's
all
my,
the different patches.
my jean jacket with my patches.
Yes, Jacki's got the back just covered with patches here.
I feel like a badass.
You look like a badass.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Very much so.
I work on that one. Witch.
Yes.
Badass witch.
Badass witch.
And I'm so excited about the Witches Union because about 7 years ago, I said, I'm tired of hiding the magic or couching the magic that we do in other things. That was actually 10 years ago. And so I started using just magic as our words, magic and witch, in our promotional stuff. And the response has been amazing because people are tired of hiding it. I mean, it's like there's stages of coming out.
Right, yep.
And when I first came out, I was like, I'm a witch, as far as my products and stuff. And I was just like, this is where I am, 3 times 3 times 3, in your face. And then as I grew my business, there was people who were like, well, that scares me a little bit, or...
Right, can you soften this for me?
And we wanted to get into a wider market, so we made a few products that are a little softer, but in the end, it's all magic.
Right.
So about 10 years ago, I went, and I had joined these different entrepreneur groups and learning more and more business stuff. And I just started telling people, I help you awaken your inner magic. Tell me more. And they lean in, and they want to know it, and they're like, well... And then they quietly say, I really believe in that. And I said, it's time. It's time to just own this. And this is what I've been doing. I've been doing this for 26 years. I've had Coventry for 26 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
I sell.
And it's so hard. That's really, really impressive, just because most startups fail in the first, 3 years?
Well, and the thing is, Coventry Creations and your candles, they are known to be effective and powerful. People buy them because they work.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that it's helping. Part of the impetus is to help awaken people to the magic that is available to them to use.
Well, our Blessed Herbal candles, sometimes they get the pushback, well, who blesses it? And I say, well, you do. We create the sacred space that they're created in. I have 26 years of continuing to energize the thought forms and the magical constructs that are the recipes.
Right.
The Blessed Herbal line, it's the same recipe the entire time. What we do is when we talk about made when the moon is right, well, the moon's never wrong.
Right.
So we're in this magical construct, we've set up, well, if this prosperity candle has to be made in a waning moon because I just sell a lot of them.
Right.
What energy shift do we need? So we're going to clear the blockages to this. So it still works. Because it just
comes from a different angle.
Right. I'm a firm believer in you do magic when you need it. Don't wait.
Right.
If rent's due today, don't wait for the full moon.
Right. Yeah.
Do your magic when the need is necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, you also have, in your line of candles, you have Dorothy Morrison candles.
The
How
Wicked
did
Witch
that
magic.
happen? She is one of my favorites.
Yes.
I love Dorothy.
So I met Dorothy here at Convocation many years ago, and I saw her and I saw her classes, and I just decided that she's my people. And I talked to a few folks, and I said, I need an introduction. And we immediately bonded. I made sure I wasn't approaching her fangirl-like.
That's hard.
Right.
It's really hard. At least for me.
Yeah.
When it comes to Dorothy Morrison.
She's so real.
Yeah, that is true.
And over the years, we talked about wanting to do some products together. We tried a few things that were, mediocre. And then one day she called me and she says, I know what we need to do. We need to do a line of Wicked Witch Mojo candles. And I said, go on.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. And so we've switched them up. We've made it larger, we've made a smaller line, and we've tweaked the candles, and for a couple of years we do some limited editions for another variation. I love working with her. She's real. Her magic is real, and I love how practical she is, and her books are still very, very relevant.
Oh, absolutely. I have quite a few of her books. I actually, when I first came into Wicca years back, 2001, when I really started practicing, I went to an event in Grand Rapids that they were having similar to Convocation, and she was one of the presenters. And I went to one class, and from then on, that was it. Any class, if she was teaching the class, I was in there, bought as many of the books as were available at the time.
Right.
I learned so much from her. And she, like you said, she was very real. And was just like, this is magic. Oh, hilarious.
And
She's
funny.
got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Can we jump back even further? How did you get into witchcraft? Was this something you've always done? Was it something you...
I've always been drawn to the spiritual side of life. I love it. I love connecting with other people on the spiritual level. And I could talk for hours about that, that stay up till 4 a.m. and not realize you're doing that. And I wanted that. And I grew up Catholic, so I was always looking for that. And as a layperson in Christian faith, it's hard to get there.
Yeah.
That is true.
But it was really easy. That's the basis of what it's like to step into the magical world. And so the first thing I did is I found runes.
Okay.
And I was just like, wow, this is energetic and living, and they speak to me. I don't read runes anymore, but that was like my gateway drug. And dream interpretation, and actually psychology was a big piece of stepping into the magical realm. Because if you think about Jung and Freud, this was considered voodoo. It was hooky, witchy type stuff.
Right.
which is amazing because Jung actually, his mother is a spiritualist.
I don't think I knew that.
He also studied the Kabbalah, so a lot of his philosophies are really framed by those philosophies.
That makes sense.
So it just was really, it was like step by step by step, and then somebody used this really weird term called metaphysics. And I went, what is that? And so I got this really technical book on metaphysics, and I go, well, that's not what I want. And then I just started stepping in. But once I started wading into that water, I just dove head first. Because this is where I want it to be. This is where I feel it, and I feel spirit, and I feel connected to other people. And I'm a rebel, and I'm a weirdo who doesn't like the normal thing.
Right.
And that was a great disappointment to my parents, and they are not over it, and I don't care.
Well, we still hide because I'm scared of my mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
That's why we go by our magical names for the podcast.
Got it.
Car hopes that she will never know.
Yeah.
I keep telling him that's not going to happen.
Well, when I opened up Coventry Creations and I started the business, it was hard to hide that. And my dad still calls it my little candle business. And I'm like, well, this little candle business that you don't believe in actually believes in you and has helped you out quite a bit and has helped support you at different times. So that's nice. And my mother, when she was alive, she would cry for the children who don't go to church anymore. And I'm like, well, your bitter tears need to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't as sassy as that, but it was like I just had to be out because this is what I do. And then I had a store. I had a store again, a candlewick shop, but when I had my first store for a minute, it was running a store is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Just stepping into the world of magic, I was studying to be a naturopath. And as I'm studying to be a naturopath, I started studying the herbs. And I cared more about the folklore of the herbs than the actual chemical constituents. Then I was like looking, look, if this is, a blood cleaner, look, this is also considered a protection and exorcism herb. How about that? Look at all these things kind of come together.
I wonder how that came about.
So then I started playing with creating magical concoctions of herbs, and then I walked into this one store that had candle making supplies, and I went, well, what could it hurt? I made the first batch were holiday gifts, were Yule gifts for people who had, so I was a real broke witch at that point. I was a poor witch, and I was also 24, so those go hand in hand. There's people who have been very supportive and helped me out and helped me keep food on the table, and I wanted to make them a magical item that's specific for them. And so the first 18 that I made that were all gifts for people are still the 18 candles that I have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yep. Some of them have been renamed a bit, but
Right.
That's very cool, and it's amazing because you had this small little business, which is now it's a large business. I mean, every pagan store I think carries your line.
that's the goal. That is the goal. We sell to about 700 stores around the world. There's a lot more magical stores in the world than that, and so I welcome every new client. But we're big and we're not big at the same time. It's still considered a very small business as far as the business world goes. We're the biggest we've ever been. And at Coventry, there's 16 of us who do all the products.
Wow.
So
that's a very compact team you have there.
Yeah. So everything is still handmade. We hand pour everything. We look at each one and make sure we send it out the door with lots of love.
That's great.
That is very cool. And I got my candles yesterday.
Okay.
I got my 3 candles, so I'm very happy.
It was cool because they were like, focus on what you want, and here, pull from this deck.
Yeah, that deck that you had.
The Coventry Magic Oracle.
That's so cool.
That started as shelf talkers for stores. Like you can use this prosperity candle for more than just this, or you can use. And it started because I had some candles that were not selling; they were duds, and they just weren't going. So I was desperate to sell them because they already existed.
Fair.
So I made these cards to help stores sell them, and then I laid them out as I was proofing them, and I went, oh look, it's an oracle, and I just started playing with it as an oracle, and I went, well, it's true. One of my philosophies is you're really only doing one of 5 types of magic. You're doing something for material gain, that's prosperity. Job, money, car, a material gain. You're doing something for a relationship, whether it's family or romantic or business, even a boss-employee relationship or coworker. So that's love. You're doing something for protection.
Mm-hmm.
That's protection.
Right.
You're going to heal something, or you're going to clear something.
Mm-hmm.
That has proven true.
Well, I know that when I, focused on what are the needs, what are the reasons I want to buy these candles, and pulled my 3 cards, I got exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I was needing. Going, yes, this is exactly what I need.
So there's 5 messages plus what's on the label is on every card, and the way I do it is you have something to get to your goal. So what you think you need for magic is usually not what you need for magic, because what you think you need is just the symptom.
Yeah, the surface level problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's your ego going, oh, that's your problem. It's not really this deeper thing over here. And so that's how we trick ourselves. So the first card you pull, I have people pull, is something for healing. And then the second card is, so what needs to be healed in your life? Mm-hmm. The second card is what needs to be cleared in your life. So what's your bottleneck to your goal? And then the last one is, what's your blind spot? What you really need that you are not seeing?
Right.
So then those are the 3 cards, and so here's what you need to heal, to clear, and then here's what you need to really focus on to achieve your goal.
Right.
And it's always amazing. I've been starting to do Facebook Lives for the Coventry
nice.
Creations.
Okay.
I'm doing the Oracle, so under 5 minutes I'll pull some cards. And the last one I did, when I pulled the cards, I said, "You guys saw me shuffle," and this is the answer, and it was really powerful, and it always surprises me.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
Where can you be found?
Where can I be found? Usually in the Coventry world.
Not you. Your products. Sorry.
Oh.
I know where you can be found.
You are your product.
Yes.
Yeah. There is not a little of me in every product.
So our listenership is way wider than we ever thought it would be. We're in all 50 states. We're in
a bunch of countries.
The Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, the Southern Hemisphere.
You
listen
in Australia.
South Africa.
We have a website, CoventryCreations.com.
Okay.
Which is in the middle of being updated, but it still works. Tons of information on it. Tons of legacy information. Lots of articles you can look at and read, because this is our avocation too. So we don't just make the products and push it out. We talk about how to use and how to heal and how to really make it part of the world. We are in lots of stores, so if you have your favorite store that you like to go to, either online or brick and mortar, ask for us.
Okay.
It's easy for them to get the products.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have retailers who are online for sure. We have a store locator on the Coventry Creations.
Okay.
Not everybody's in there, but we try to get as many stores in there as possible, and there's online. And then we do have some retailers who have got us onto Amazon.
Okay.
Very
All
nice. I went to your class this morning because you've taught several classes here at Convocation, right?
I'm all done now.
All done. Get to just enjoy. And it was on the spheres of influence, the magical spheres of influence that we have in our lives. And you did exercises for not only basically kind of tightening up and clearing your own energy, but sharing energy with other people.
Yes.
And I thought that was really interesting. Could you maybe explain a little about the concept of that?
So our spheres of influence is not only who's in our life, but who's in the life of the people that are in our lives.
Okay. Yeah.
So
7 degrees of separation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very powerful piece. So it's being conscious of that. The point of the class was to be conscious of whose energy you're in. I could go on for hours about that, and I just had to pick a couple of things to talk about for the 90-minute class. So I really wanted people to be aware of when your aura is big, and let's say you're wanting to help someone, or someone is wanting to control you, or you're being a control freak, our aura tends to encompass another person. We kind of grab on. I did an exercise where the first thing was to get your aura and your energy aligned and clear, and your boundaries, you're aware of your boundaries and they're firm.
Mm-hmm.
And flexible at the same time. And then I had someone expand their aura to encompass someone else. And then I had that other person change their mood and see how that felt.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
So, think of something that frustrates you a lot, and then the person who was encompassed. So the person who threw their aura out then changed their mood, and then the person who was surrounded by that aura raised their hand when they felt a shift. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting how it was almost simultaneously everyone raised their hand at the same time. And then I had them change their mood to something positive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I had them pull their aura back and then do a disconnecting. If I can give one thing, whenever you're obsessively thinking about someone, or you feel that you're stuck in their energy, there's a really simple saying that one of my teachers, Eve Wilson, gave me, where you say, I'm going to say Joe, some Joe out there in the world. I give Joe wholly, completely, and permanently back to Joe, and I take Jacki wholly, completely, and permanently back to Jacki. And sometimes I have to say that 3 times.
Gotcha.
And it's great because now you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll let go.
Right.
And sometimes it's when someone's hurting, or let's say you get I get crushes on people all the time. Like, I got a crush on you because we're having a great conversation, and then you hang on to them.
Right.
And so I practice that on the regular, and it keeps me from having too many strings out there in the world draining me.
Right.
So we did that as an exercise. Were you there when we did the being present?
I think I had to leave before.
So the next thing we did. The next thing we did was being present, and the whole process was, so it's taking this unconscious thing that happens. You're in somebody else's energy, and let's say their wife's mother's neighbor did something that pissed off their wife's mother, and the mother said something to the wife, and then it's now your boss, and then it's you, and so how that bad day can be infected. Circulate,
right,
it can infect everyone. And the opposite is true too. You're having an amazing day, and you're going like, you look great, and you look great, this scarf is amazing on you.
Oh,
and
I was here for that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
So then I took it to that part where it's like, are you going to be being present in your conversation with someone, being present in your own magic? And so I had people team up and just had the one person talk about their morning. And then I gave them like 30 seconds to do that, and then we stopped. And then I had them stare in each other's eyes for 15 seconds. Just 15 seconds. Have you ever stared in someone's eyes for 15 seconds?
Yes.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
It can feel awkward for people.
Yeah. Awkward. So, and then I had that person tell them again about their, and so what happened is not only did that person tell them more, they felt more vulnerable and trusting. The person who was listening heard more.
Right.
And so then we talked about that and what it's like for being present. I said, do you guys feel you want to switch now? And nobody wanted to switch. I said, well, we're going to anyway. And then I had them do the gazing at each other. And then the second person told them about their morning. And then I said, now how do you all feel? Well, now there's reciprocity.
Right.
Now there's the other person didn't have to stay in the space of, I'm only here for you. They got to practice being vulnerable as well.
Right.
And so it's that whole, and that's all that influence stuff is that if you become present, and I've been practicing being present because I realize in this technology age, I'm not present. But I can't even blame technology because we get stuck in our own pain and our own story. And all these events happen in our life, and then we make them mean something. We create a story around these events. And when you're unconsciously doing this all the time, that story that you're creating can get out of control, and then the events don't mean it.
Right.
So it's when you become present and you can see, oh, these are the facts of what happened. You become present in your own life and present for the other people you're with, then you can understand the difference between what actually happened and the story you're creating. And then in that story you're creating, you can start to see, oh, I have a thing I gotta fix. Because if you need to do magic around something, that means that there's something broken in your energy.
Right.
And that's okay, because we all have it. So if you think about it as I'm fixing and healing something that's broken, you expend less energy. You get deeper.
Are any of those kind of classes available online for people, or
Not
is
yet.
you just have to show up at a con or Michigan Pagan Fest? Or
This morning?
We're
recording?
Yes, we've been recording so I can use different snippets of stuff. And there's a funny thing that happens. I've been recording classes for years, and I've done nothing with them. How about that? I've lost some of them. Some of them got corrupted. It's fine. So we're just practicing for when we really do a thing.
we used to have a box of film at home. I don't even know if we
None
still
of
have
which
it.
ever got.
No, I never.
That
got
was
that
from when
process.
Ode was an infant.
Yeah.
And we just never processed it. And it literally was an entire box of like 40 or 50 rolls of film that we just never did anything. I think we finally just got rid of
I
it.
think
But
we did, yeah.
it's crazy how you can like save all these things that you have intentions of doing something with.
And then
it just never happens.
So one of I'm not short of ideas or too many things to do, and one of my goals is to create an online school.
Oh, that would
for
be
this.
great.
It's funny, one of the things that I talked about that closed the class with is that we're always manifesting what we believe. So our ego's job is to prove our beliefs.
Right.
And so if you're conscious of what you believe, and when you become present, you can become more conscious of what you believe, and that's what you manifest. And I was starting to feel a little salty about, my classes are usually much more attended, a lot more people come to it. I'm like, well, maybe I need to take a break from this. Maybe I need to not teach for a little while. And then at the end of this class and talking to someone, I was reminded of what I said in this past year, because I did some small intimate events and how much I'm enjoying having smaller classes so we can dive a little bit deeper. So guess what I got?
Small class. Right, yep.
And I was like, oh my God, I literally said 20 or less. And that's what I've had pretty much in my classes. And I'm like, oh, here's proof. Here's proof that this works. I was like, I manifest what I believe.
Even when you forget that that's what you want.
Exactly. So it's just, I was becoming present in my own magic.
Yeah.
And I was going, oh, okay, I did a thing.
The thing we've taught pretty much everywhere is this Building Your Book series that we did in 6 podcasts.
For building your grimoire, your book of shadows.
Okay.
Right. We did this whole podcast series, which is probably 7 hours long between all of them.
That, we started it just sort of because it gave us a framework for those early episodes.
And then Michigan Pagan Fest, I submitted to Michigan Pagan Fest that we would teach it in 3 parts. And after it was accepted, I told them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, by the way, we've got to write this now because...
You may be noticing a trend.
You're the idea guy.
Oh, yeah, fully.
I call ideas cheap Chinese imports.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're shiny and they come on strong and they don't last. Not all of them last.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ode and I taught the Building Your Book series at Detroit Pagan Pride.
Yeah.
And while we were there, Kathy Blizzard and Dave were there and Anna Faye. So we went by their booth and said, oh yeah, we submitted 2 classes. We submitted Speaking with Symbols and Monikers and Metaphorical Spaces, which are 2 of other of our podcasts. And Kathy said, oh no, we want you to do Building Your Book and we want you to do it in 1 class, an hour and a half.
Like, okay.
All right.
So it's 9 different parts. So we taught it yesterday and we stressed out so much over doing it in 90 minutes. Like, we were just flipping out. So we put a clock on it. We did it. We actually all 3 loved doing it. The class seemed to really enjoy it. So I told Kathy this morning, I'm like, we thought you were nuts, but we really enjoyed it. We'll probably do it again. And she goes, we'll submit it for next year. And I'm like, okay, well, we will, but...
I'm one of over-engineering classes, so last year and this year was exercises in diving deeper into one subject rather than giving you a book's worth of content in 90 minutes.
Right.
One of my very favorite things to do, I've done it 2 years in a row now, is What's My Spell?
Oh, yeah.
And last year I brought boxes of things for people to open up and say, somebody call out a spell they want done, and then I would hand them a box, and they didn't know what was in the box. This year we did it again, but I made cards, because I had a lot of stuff I schlepped. This time I just brought in cards. So there's like, this card has a brick on it, and this card has a pocket knife, and this card has scissors, and this card has string, and this card has rosemary, and this card has a rose quartz. So all these different things. It was like a deck this big. And I would just have people pull cards, and that was so much fun.
I bet it does. It sounds like it was.
It was at the same time as the Iron Ritualist, so it was kind of like we're doing, and that was
a little bit of an overlapping
same thing. Yeah. And that's fine. And I had like 20 people in there. There's that number again.
There you go.
And it was fun because it was a lot of fun, and then we were able to get everyone involved.
So here's the question: when are you going to get to do your own Cards Against Humanity, the Cards
Against
Stagecraft?
Everyone said they want the deck,
absolutely.
and so now since I pretty much ripped those images off the internet, to do it I have to it's a big project and do all the pictures and stuff like that. But I think it's really cool, and I have some cool ideas, because wouldn't that be a fun game?
It would.
Yeah.
And it was
like party game.
Yeah. As when we were doing that at the party last night. But I also think it's a gal who works for me, and she does put stuff on the social media for me. She goes, I need that deck because sometimes I just need ideas.
Right, yeah.
So I made the first copy, which was screwed up, I gave to her. And so she will just pull cards and go, oh, I see what I can do. So it was fun because somebody pulled, in our party game, they pulled a brick, chocolate coins, and a hagstone. And then, well, if you had those 3 things, what kind of spell would you do? And it was fun because, oh no, it wasn't a brick. It was chocolate coins, a hagstone, and a wild card.
Okay.
They were like looking at this, and I would call the fairy. I would call the fate. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so it was just fun. It was just fun to do different things.
Yeah.
Different ideas.
Well, we super appreciate you being here and doing this interview, and I think next time we need to schedule a longer one.
I know we're out of time, but this is fun. This is my favorite subject to talk about.
So yeah, we'd love to have you back.
The What's My Spell deck.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Yes. That would be a lot of fun.
Maybe we can plan a time and we can come over to Coventry Creations and just meet you there, and we can kind of go through.
Yeah, I'd love to show you our digs.
Yeah.
And show you that we really do pour.
We believe you.
Yeah, we can even do a live YouTube stream for that.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll definitely plan to do it again. We loved having you.
This is fun, and we're in the same state, even though many hours apart.
Yes, that's okay. It's not that bad.
Awesome.
Yeah, it could be worse. You could be across the country from us.
That's true.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Well, thank you.
This was so much fun to be with the three of you.
Well, we appreciate it.
You've been listening to Three Pagans and a Cat. Find out more information at www.threepagansandacat.com.